N-E-G-A.
Oh, that's real nice.
Selamat pagi, Mio here.
And Kido here to tell you that today we have Twitter outrage,
Pathetic trolling.
Jack said what?
And lawsuits.
In this video, diving into the never-ending controversies surrounding Glitch, gooseworx, and the amazing digital circus, as well as its toxic and parasocial fandom.
This video was originally inspired by the accusations of racism against Michael Kovac, the voice of Jax. But before we could complete that video, more and more drama kept emerging from the deep depths.
New drama every single week!
And somehow the weird ones in the fandom found a way to make each situation even worse.
So, to keep things organized and to fully explain the history of digital circus controversies, we shall start at the very beginning.
The controversies began way back
Whoa. What's that you say? You don't know what the amazing digital circus is?
Inconceivable! You must have been living under a rock! Well, the Amazing Digital Circus, which we shall refer to as TADC, is one of the most, if not the most, popular indie animation series on YouTube, and probably other platforms as well.
It has got hundreds of millions of views, and quickly, maybe too quickly, garnered a rather rabid and dedicated fanbase of both adults and children alike.
The series was created in 2023 by gooseworx and produced by the indie animation studio known as Glitch.
Most well known for making the series Murder Drones, and now the Amazing Digital Circus.
The characters of the series are one of the reasons it blew up so much. It includes Pomni, the female jester.
Fan artists had a lot of fun drawing her.
Jax, the mean purple rabbit.
Artists had even more fun drawing him.
Kane, and Bubbles, and everyone else.
Now, one of the biggest problems with fandoms of indie products is that fans can become a little parasocial. Not all fans, but sometimes a lot of fans. Because they can come close to almost direct contact with the creators of their favorite series and can like all the tweets and make fan art and stuff, some fans get a little too invested in another human being's life and act like they should have some say in what a creator should say and stand for. This is made worse when children become involved.
And unfortunately, some creators feed into these delusional people by constantly pandering to them, making sure they say all the right things and or oversharing deeply personal details of their lives.
TADC cast members and fans are not immune to this issue. It's not as bad as it could be, but while trying to look up the drama for this video, we did not expect to discover that 2 of the cast members were in a relationship that ended in 2025.
Sure, maybe if you're in a public relationship, your audience would want to know when it's over. But you don't need to tell them that it was an open, polyamorous relationship, or the exact reasons for the breakup. Nobody should want to know that.
Also, because Glitch is an indie studio, they love to interact with the fans, which can be cool if you're distinguishing yourself from nasty companies like Disney, who actively hate their fans, but once again, makes people far too comfortable in their communication with the creators of the series they like. In other words, the fans started feeling entitled.
Oh dear! Even the voice actors think that the fans are parasocial, like when the voice cast of TADC would do their streams for charity, but the fans would whine and complain when Michael Kovac wasn't there, their favorite character, Jax, and maybe their father or missing cousin or something. They just have to see them.
And people are starting to think that gooseworx might not like the fandom very much, which, whether true or not, would be fair, as you will see just how entitled, parasocial, and insane the most parts of the fandom can get.
And how we got to the most recent drama that has shaken the fandom and the future of the digital circus to its core. So, without further ado, let us start from the beginnings of the fandom's never-ending cycle of drama.
One more ado. Now, real quick, it should be noted that, like any weird fandom, plenty and perhaps the majority of the fans are pretty tame and normal, but there will always be the very vocal minority.
I hate everything about my life, including you.
UTTP stands for YouTube Troll Police, which, despite its name, is a group of trolls containing primarily teens, children, and adult children. From what we can tell, they hate just about anything popular. They could deserve a video of their own, but right now, no.
For the sake of not having this video being over an hour long, we're going to skip most of the stuff involving UTTP. All you need to know is that they are not fond of TADC being popular, and decided to do a little bit of trolling, which included doxing the cast and crew members, and flooding said members' tweets with animal and child gore. Generally some unhinged psycho behavior. They also started deleting pages on the fandom wiki, but eventually that got taken care of.
We'll mention them here primarily so that when we bring them up later in the video, you'll know who we're talking about.
That escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Yeah, tadc early on had its own dedicated group of haters, but some of the voice actors did as well.
In 2024, Kinger voice actor Sean Chiplock was blasted by a cancellation cannon.
Whoa!
Accusing him of grooming.
That's not good at all. This wasn't the first time the voice actor had received career-ending accusations before this point, but those seem to have been pretty quickly disproven. This one, however, actually gained some traction, calling for Kinger to be recast.
A lot of this happened in the past, and spoiler alert, things have been resolved, so we don't want to bring people's names up to dredge up old drama. So we shall refer to this Twitter user as R. R posted that 10 years ago, so 2014, Sean had contacted a friend of theirs who was a 15-year-old minor on a furry website and then proceeded to have inappropriate conversations with them on Skype.
Other D1 haters pointed out this is a pattern of behavior, since he has a history of making jokes that are kinda edgy.
Smash. Just for everyone that was recording. I figured I had to give you one.
And there was a group of his dedicated haters who were ready and willing to cancel him for literally any reason. He's also a super successful voice actor with a large catalog of work, so you know there are people preying on his downfall.
Sean responded as one would by saying the accusations were not only factually incorrect, but false. Eventually, the alleged grooming victim, who we shall call C, hopped on Twitter to clarify some things. Turns out that R posted C's story without their permission and misconstrued what they said.
They never claimed Sean was a groomer, but rather Sean had a conversation with They never claimed Sean was a groomer, but rather Sean had a conversation with C, assuming C was an adult, since both of them were active on 18+ websites and had only chatted on Skype once.
In the end, Sean apologized in a private conversation with C, and things were resolved with R, and everything was explained, and everyone moved on, except for people kept bringing it up, so then he created a document explaining everything once and for all.
All in all, this big drama was a bit of a nothing burger, and tadc fans breathed a sigh of relief. This incident just shows that certain individuals are ready to dredge up past dramas, accusations, and behavior to banish people into the shadow realm.
Also, in general, despite the giant mess, it was handled about as well as it could have been, and didn't get out of control. This drama happened relatively close to when the tadc pilot was released, and the fan base, while large, as the show was very popular, wasn't nearly as large as it would become, and not nearly as toxic.
They did not overwhelmingly harass Sean Chiplock, and they did not keep bringing it up once everything was cleared up, and they seemed genuinely happy when things were resolved. How quaint! But things will not stay this way forever.
Walt, please just hear me out, please.
Okay, so, the tadc fandom has a problem. A shipping problem. Now, in case you don't know what shipping is, let us explain.
Shipping is when fans of shows, books, movies, or some other form of entertainment place two or more fictional characters in a relationship, aka a ship. Usually a romantic one. Vegeta x Goku.
Oh yes, please!
Sometimes they even ship fictional characters with themselves, and get pretty weird about it.
Shipping and romanticizing characters is something that many fandoms participate in, and the tadc fandom is notoriously toxic about it. Usually it's just wars between fans, bullying each other about how dare you ship Jax with Pomni, he obviously belongs with Gangle, ship name Jangle.
However, sometimes these strange ideas leach into the real world, and innocents get caught in the crossfire. On November 6, 2025, someone asked gooseworx on Tumblr if Ragatha would make out with anyone in particular. Weird question, and gooseworx jokingly responded with,
Ragatha would only make out with Sam tries her best on Twitter, hehe.
How very funny, says some people, I'm sure. But some fans took this seriously, and started sending death threats to Sam tries her best on Twitter.
Oh my gosh! Sam tries her best currently has her Twitter account locked, but I'm not sure if it has anything to do with the alleged wave of harassment that came her way.
gooseworx, after seeing her friend get attacked on Twitter for the dumbest reason imaginable, posted this the next day.
If your takeaway from this is to send death threats to my friend and not,
Oh, that's an obvious joke.
then I think you need to die! Some of you guys aren't old enough to be watching cartoons, I swear.
As we'll see later, gooseworx likes to tell certain groups of individuals that are causing trouble to themselves. But I do admit there is something deeply wrong with some people in this fandom, and some of those people just so happen to be on Reddit.
But why? Why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
When TADC Episode 7, Beach Episode, dropped in December 2025, it shook the fandom as we learned that Kane has more controlling abilities than originally thought. This may or may not have led to some people crashing out and hating on Kane. But even more interestingly, the episode might have caused a Redditor to do something really stupid. So stupid, they got banned from the Amazing Digital Circus subreddit. Although, I don't know which one.
You see, along with all the twists and turns or whatever in episode 7, there are some brief flashes of actual real-world POV shots of someone, presumably Jax, driving down a road. This is likely very important to Jax's story, so a bunch of fans decide to be sane and rational and dox the street the footage was shot on and attempt to solve the ARG that was surely going on. One Reddit user even claimed the following. We will not read the entire post as it is far too long, but here's a brief summary.
Oh my gosh, guys, you know how people were doxing a certain street that they saw in the Amazing Digital Circus video? Yeah, okay. Well, I bullied my sister to take me there. I went there. Hey guys, do not harass the people living there. It turns out the neighborhood right next to the docks road is in fact not part of the TADC ARG. I even knocked on a few random doors harassing people to see if they knew anything about the Amazing Digital Circus, and one person didn't know anything at all. One of them didn't even know about the Jackson Pomni ship, and one of them didn't even speak English. Please guys, don't be like me and harass people living there.
We don't know if this actually happened or if it's an elaborate and unfunny troll. Regardless, this post was removed by moderators. But speaking of things being removed from Reddit,
run away and never return.
Speaking of Reddit, oh my goodness! In late February, a bit of drama went down on the website after it was discovered that gooseworx said some things about the TADC characters, and the backlash was so bad it made gooseworx delete their entire Reddit account and apologize to people on Blue Sky. But what could she have said that riled people up so much?
well, apparently on a live stream, gooseworx seemingly confirmed what we had already presumed and said that Pomni and Jax were the two main characters. And if that wasn't enough, on a Reddit post asking if the last 2 episodes of TADC would be enough to redeem Jax's character, gooseworx said,
"What if the show is about someone who's too stubborn to give up and someone who's too stubborn to be saved? That would be crazy."
Wow, that's crazy. Pretty tame, honestly, but there are some people who are confused and bewildered by the fact that only Pomni and Jax were considered main characters, and not
Agatha, my beloved!
And people went rabid. How dare gooseworx say things about their own series that some people may not agree with?
What do they know anyway?
No, there weren't that many people who were foaming at the mouth with rage, but there were many fans who were, if nothing else, a little confused, and for good reason.
This is because Jax isn't really set up immediately as a secondary protagonist, as mentioned in the stream, although Jax and Ragatha were obviously more important characters than Kinger, Zubril, and Gangle.
On that note, Ragatha seemed just as important as Jax at first, but as the series continued on, she got more and more sidelined in the story. An ancient post by gooseworx had stated that each character would have an episode, but when the supposed Ragatha episode came around, episode 5, it focused more on Jax instead.
Despite assurance that Ragatha would get plenty of development in her... Shut up!
No!
Despite assurance that Ragatha would get plenty of development in the last 2 episodes, many noisy fans voiced their discontent. A lot of angry comments have apparently vanished into thin air. But I guess whatever pushback occurred was bad enough to make gooseworx delete their entire Reddit account and apologize for anything that was said on stream, and they didn't mean to hurt anyone.
No idea why you would apologize for not doing anything wrong, but in the end, everyone moved on with their lives. Plenty of other fans creators voiced support for Goose, and afterwards the fandom would remain drama-free for, roughly 2 months.
Let's go.
When Glitch announced that the TADC finale would be coming to theaters, people had mixed feelings. Almost everyone was like,
OMG, TADC is going to theaters! This is so peak and cinema!
And we're happy that Glitch could be taking the indie series to the big screen.
But others were mad and sad by this news, because the theater release for the finale would happen 2 weeks before the YouTube release. Apparently, Glitch had tried to get both releases as close to each other as possible. But in the past, when TADC was for some reason put on Netflix, Glitch had promised that they would always release episodes on YouTube first.
Liar!
So I guess that doesn't apply here.
In all fairness, I don't think Glitch knew they would get the opportunity to put the finale in theaters. After all, who could have seen this coming?
But while some fans weren't happy, some of the anger started to slowly fade away. Little did anyone know that the biggest drama nuke the fandom had ever seen was about to hit the unheli Little did anyone know that the biggest drama nuke the fandom had ever seen was about to hit the unholy hellscape of Twitter.
Okay, enough pussyfooting around. We've set it up long enough. On March 11th, 2019, Ashley Nichols, voice of the character Zubul, and 3 of her friends, including Michael Kovac, the voice of Jax, booted up a live stream. Not just any old live stream though, a birthday live stream.
Everything was going smoothly, but approximately 6,480 seconds into the live stream, this happened.
I think I know the answer to this one. Notice you, senpai. Aaron, sure, nigga. We notice you. Chur mega? Hey, Saber.
A viewer by the name of Aaron Churn, or something to that effect, left a very kawaii message.
Notice me, senpai!
And Ashley hesitated to say the name as the ending sounded somewhat similar to a certain slur. However, she moved on and said hello to her amigo Saberspark. What is he doing here?
She did not. It just sounded like it.
Did it? I said nega, you idiot.
It sounded like another word.
No. Well,
Like,
you guys heard
I thought you
Mel's.
said it. I was like, what?
To be absolutely clear, I said nega, N-E-G-A, like negative. Which,
Like Eggman nega.
yeah. We're just digging the hole deeper. Just deeper and deeper and deeper.
Later, there was a callback to this moment as Michael made a joke in reference of that earlier shout-out.
This spawned oodles of giggles as it caught everyone off guard. LOL, it sounded like a slur, and Ashley nearly got tripped up over it. Just running down the wood was hilarious, and Michael dared to say the tainted word.
Matchup is so good.
Thank you.
So long, nigga.
It clearly sounded like N-E-G-A.
N-E-G-A is not a bad word, but we won't be saying it in this video because we don't want another false guideline strike. We hope you understand.
And gooseworx had the gall to be in the chat and type the word N-E-G-A with her own white Caucasian fingers.
And that's about it. Some millennials having a ha-ha about what was almost a racist moment. But this somehow triggered someone enough to bring this into the spotlight 7 years later. How they found this, I don't know.
At the time, there was absolutely no pushback whatsoever. Everyone just thought it was a funny joke, and maybe they laughed at it a little too long.
But when Twitter got their peepers on this, absolute heck broke loose.
You're a little late, aren't you, Buster?
We were actually kind of late to this drama because we're not chronically online, but it seems that Twitter users made a big enough stink that Michael Kovac issued an apology, and we got there just in time to see the fandom explode and implode in real time. Michael Kovac's tweet apologizing for this reads as follows.
I've just been made aware of this. This is an absolutely insensitive joke. Earlier in the stream, we heard Ashley read out a username that contained the word N-E-G-A, short for negative. And all of us, including chat, freaked out because we misheard what was said. Once misunderstanding was cleared, we poked fun at the absurdity of it. However, the joke relied on the fact that it's teetering on racist, which ultimately is no different than making a legitimate racist joke. I apologize for any harm this has caused, and for the fact that we ever thought it was humorous to joke about in the first place. Racism is never okay. We should always strive to be kind and lift each other up.
Shortly afterwards, Michael had to turn off replies to his apology because UTTP, that group we were talking about earlier, were allegedly spamming a bunch of animal gore, because that's a totally normal thing to do. And after Michael posted his tweet, the reactions from Twitter were mixed, to say the least.
Michael Kovac saying the N-word is not surprising, to be honest. Disappointing, but not surprising. White people just can't resist a slur, I guess.
That almost sounds racist. That is literally the N-word! Anyone saying it's not as insane. Michael Kovac literally said the N-word, and the odds of having a totally mature and acceptable response from either of them is low, unfortunately!
Why is totally mature and acceptable response in quotes? And they did respond. What do you mean?
Only apologizing after you got caught, of course.
People saying that
You're only apologizing because you were caught.
are so weird to me. You guys really expect him to remember something that happened 7 years ago? I can't even remember most crap I did from the past year.
If you're angry at this, you can be. Nobody controls you. But holy, some of y'all are the genuinely, but holy, some of y'all are genuinely the hypersensitive stereotype. This just looks like an average Discord.
I think it's all losing it.
This looks like the average.
I don't know. I lost it.
This just looks like an average Discord call with friends or even YouTubers being goofy about edgy/irrelevant BS. But now, suddenly it's horrible. Limo!
Every black person has their own opinion on the situation, so here's mine. I've been scrolling through my timeline thinking this man committed a hate crime, only for it to be an unfunny NEGA joke. I'm sorry, but this felt so forced.
The whole Michael Kovac situation is the most brain-dead thing I've ever seen! The clip was 7 years ago. He didn't say the N-word, and the mother trucker already issued an apology. Spineless move 101! And yet people are still jumping the tune for a word that's not even racist.
I'm black and I don't have an issue with it. Then don't speak.
Are you hearing this, Bubble?
Oh, wow. Okay, so you're just openly saying our opinions don't matter if they don't align with yours. So much for listen to black voices, am I right? You never cared about us to begin with. All you care about is weaponizing our identity to stroke your ego for Twitter likes. Congratulations.
It's hard to tell if some people are confused and think that Michael said the N-word, or if they're deliberately lying. Ashley, who was a birthday girl in the stream, and the first person to actually say the word, also made an apology on Twitter, with replies turned off because the UTTP apparently found her too.
You currently cannot see any of her tweets right now, because only approved followers are allowed to. But luckily, before she locked her account, we spotted her response.
I want to apologize to anyone the jokes in my stream harmed. Racism is never okay, and even joking about a misunderstanding that sounded racist is also not okay. I should have known better back then, and I want to continue to grow and be a better person. Frick racism and frick racists. This post is in bad faith to stir up drama. As explained in Michael's post, I was reading out the username Churnega, and it was misheard, which is what started all of this. Here's the unedited clip. Timestamp in the full VOD is 1 hour, 47 minutes, and 59 seconds. What? You're still watching the video? Huh? Well, please consider hitting the like button, subscribe button, and hype button. You can do all these things for free. It's a good investment.
But don't just take our word for it. Here is a glowing endorsement from Disappearing Guy.
Subscribe.
Well then, back to the video.
That is huge! That is absolutely huge! Yes!
As you can probably tell, there were roughly 3 types of reactions. 1.
I can't believe Michael Kovac said the N-word. I'll never forgive him for as long as I live.
2. I don't know if I should have any kind of opinion because I'm not black. So I'll just make a tweet that doesn't actually contribute to the conversation one way or another. And then 3.
This is a giant nothing burger. I can't believe y'all trying to cancel Jax for some straight up nonsense. It's still an unfunny joke, but it was 7 years ago.
For a brief aside, while everyone was breaking down on Twitter, this whole incident impacted one unfortunate furry, or a person who has a furry head on, in the most unfortunate way.
What do I even do in this situation? Where do I even begin? It's still under the second skin. Not even 48 hours.
In a cruel twist of fate, less than 2 days after the fan had chosen a tattoo of Michael Kovac's signature, for some reason, this whole drama started to unfold.
We don't typically judge tattoos, but why do you think getting a Made Jax tattoo was ever going to age well? And why would you want a tattoo of anyone's signature?
A lot of people roasted the crap out of this person, so we'll say nothing more on the matter, but my gosh, how unlucky. Reddit caught wind of this whole negative drama, and for the most part, people could not care less, and thought it was stupid to try to cancel someone for something that happened 7 years ago.
But over on YouTube, all types of videos were being made, some speaking seriously about the topics, and others with,
"Yo, LOL, Jax
said the N-word, but oh well. But one particular YouTuber by the name of Nairami decided to throw in her own 2 cents into the topic.
Her video basically boils down to, this whole situation is bad, but Michael may not be racist.
Not racist.
But all the people telling black people to calm down is just anti-blackness that is all over the fandom.
Anti-black.
In fact, every fandom is swamped in anti-blackness.
Anti-blackness.
And is racist.
Racist.
And this needs to stop.
Stop it.
Guys, I can't believe that racism still exists in the big 2026. And did you know that racists are racist?
Yeah, racism.
Also, guys, hear me out. Racism is bad.
It's bad.
You get the idea.
Obviously, like, I'm not black, so I really do not have a say in this, you know, and like...
Oh, my bad. Opinion invalid then.
Listen, we're joking around here. We just think that her somehow 8-minute long video is kind of nothing, and it's somehow also one of the most popular YouTubers and videos talking about the situation.
There's been a lot of like anti-blackness, and besides the Amazing Delicious Circus fandom, every single other one.
Right.
Tensions were very high and everyone was not having a good time. And then, as if things could not get any more stupid or volatile, Plain Rock 124 emerged from his troll cave.
If you, yes you, just like us 2 days ago, don't know who this man is, allow us to explain. Plain Rock got super popular by destroying stuff, usually game consoles, in humorous ways, via either board smashing or smashing in 50 other different ways. By making this series of breaking things and doing a little bit of trolling, he has amassed millions of subscribers and hundreds of millions of views.
Now, Plain Rock is kind of cringe, and as mentioned earlier, he likes to troll, and has gotten into controversies before. He has dabbled in a bit of generative AI usage, and has posted some tweets with some slurs. He's also likely doing this to make further rage bait, if I had to guess.
But recently, not long ago, he decided it was a fantastic time to cause mischief, and he did so by going to the glitch booth at the Level Up Expo, whatever that is, and started spamming the negative emote.
Yo, it's my nigga! What's up, nigga? Bye, nigga! N-E-G-A! Oh my god. Yeah!
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
When we first saw this, we thought it was super cringe and unfunny behavior. And that's because it is. And it poured gallons of gasoline on the already burning pile of crap drama that the fandom was still up in arms about. After being made aware of this, Glitch responded in a very professional way. They said to their community,
"We were made aware of horrific and hateful behavior from a specific individual around our glitch booth today, and have contacted Level Up staff to take action, and have them removed and permanently banned. We also told our staff not to serve him, others featured in the video, or anyone seen exhibiting any behavior that would make members of our community feel unsafe or unwanted. These idiots do not represent our community or fans, and we want to make any glitch event as safe as possible for all. We condemn absolutely any hateful, discriminatory, or dumb frickwit behavior. Be kind to each other, and if you can't, then bunk off! We don't want you here!
Stunning and brave! But unfortunately, Plain Rock was far from done with his trolling, showing that with little to no effort, he was able to infiltrate the booth again. And he framed Glitch's tweet, absolutely mugging Glitch in the process. Glitch could not be found for further comment.
The level of pettiness shown by Plain Rock is almost impressive, though rather concerning. And of course, this whole incident put the controversy back in the news cycle.
Another one.
It never ends.
The YouTube channel Choco Bro made a video called
Kovacs, when being a wholesome chungus goes wrong,
where he criticizes the fan base's weird reaction to what is in his opinion a not at all racist joke.
He also points out that Michael Kovac, when he was much younger and known as the Watcher, did some voice acting and was involved in producing some very edgy and downright disgusting animations in a series called Robotnik Claws.
This is one of those newground animations that focus on shock humor, a genre that we as sheltered Christian lads did not encounter growing up. They were a popular type of video that were very much a product of the time when it came out.
It's got a lot of dark humor, although it isn't very funny, about PDF files, extremely insensitive topics like self-game over, and racial stereotypes, and other horrible things that we shall not mention. There, that should hopefully be YouTube safe. Can't even describe the series without risking breaking community guidelines. It's pretty rough.
In our opinion, we do not believe that Michael should be canceled for this, as it was very long ago, in a different time, and he was probably a rather different person. But if the people who were butthurt about the NEGA joke heard about this, they themselves might abstract.
Interestingly, whilst researching for this video, we found some people spreading what I might call misinformation. One YouTuber made a video called
I Told You So,
and throughout the video implies that Glitch really only supports a white voice cast and white stories, despite bringing up an example of the contrary.
And I just started noticing, like, they weren't very inclusive. They only platform white stories. I'm like, okay, like, the two CEOs are Asian, but they don't uplift their own people in their work. Like, from what I've seen of, like, the casts of, like, the roster of Glitch production shows, no Asian people in the cast except for them. Show some love to Donna Terrace really quickly, because single-handedly, she brought diversity to Glitch, because there are Asian voice actors within her cast, and there are people of color within her cast.
And basically says that Michael likely says the N-word all the time, and who knows, maybe everyone in the world is racist.
These idiots are not representative of our community and fans. They are, though.
It's a total fabrication.
They also blatantly ignore that Plain Rock is not a part of the TADC fandom, and genuinely does not represent part of the fan base. They also choose not to do any further research, and use this to continue criticizing Glitch. This individual also says that Michael and Plain Rock said the N-word multiple times throughout their YouTube video, when this is in fact false.
NEGA!
One might say it is a lie.
But back on Twitter, gooseworx decided to lash out at almost took my water. But back on Twitter, gooseworx decided to lash out at Plain Rock and or anyone being racist to black people in the fandom, saying they should locate a projectile device and remove themselves from the living population. Very mature and reasonable. It's also a bit hypocritical considering it was accusations of gooseworx friend Michael that started this situation. Also, the tweet, while edgy and whatever, was carefully worded to not call out Michael or any others involved. Genuinely racist, hateful things.
I feel I should say, if you think you're on my side by saying genuinely racist. Oh, I feel like I should say, if you think you're on my side by saying genuine racist, hateful things to black people in the fandom, then it is my personal belief that you should shoot yourself in the head with it.
Note, maybe not a good idea to condemn Plain Rock for making a joke about saying the word, because he's clearly making a joke about what Michael said. But if Plain Rock is racist, then why isn't Michael? Obviously Plain Rock had malicious intent, but how do we know that he's racist?
Now, we personally believe that people can grow and change and learn from whatever mistakes they make. And we don't think anyone should end themselves, especially over a joke or edgy things. But that could just be us.
In other news, people started digging through gooseworx old tweets and finding some pretty weird stuff involving, jokes about Nazis and racism and incest. But hey, they're jokes from old tweets, so it's probably not that big of a deal.
As for how this affected some of the other voice actors, Lizzie Freeman, the voice actress for Pomni, didn't really say anything, which is probably for the best.
Alex Rochon, the voice of Kane, was being very righteous on Blue Sky despite not actually being involved in the drama itself, and even kinda made some good points while talking about a death threat that was made towards the crew. He later deleted the said tweet though, because he realized that the threat was probably a troll, and said he had likely overreacted.
As we mentioned, he did make some overall good points about the toxicity of people using the whole situation to harass people, and how nothing you say or do to apologize will ever be enough.
Unfortunately, his response to being called out for liking an allegedly controversial piece of fan art implies that maybe nothing ever changes. The art itself imagines the TADC characters in the universe of Sinners, a movie I have not watched, and I guess somehow the art is racist or bad? I don't know. Let us know in the comments if you know why.
As for Marissa Lanty, the voice of Gangle, she also wasn't involved in the stream or any of the drama, but people took this opportunity to cancel her anyway. We won't get into too much detail because it's a big mess, but she seemingly was bullied into disavowing the YouTuber Black Griffin after fans mentioned that she collaborated with him on a song.
Griffin himself is controversial these days due to some past actions, and some dubious figures like Bernie Fanout have been on a crusade to cancel him for alleged grooming, racism, and other stuff. And it's just a whole big mess.
Maybe in the future we'll try to explain that situation better, but for now, Marissa said she will no longer be involved in any fan songs featuring characters she voices. So, I guess that sucks.
For the most part, the drama has finally simmered down. Michael Kovac has decided to take a break from the internet for a while, and has been gone since the end of April. gooseworx somehow managed to escape most of the criticism, as did Ashley, who locked her Twitter down, and of course that's an indication she didn't escape most of the controversy. Either way, as for Plain Rock, the troll, he has gone on to continue to try to farm attention for clicks, has moved on to making fun of Nintendo, and calling people disabled.
Get that ugly, disabled freak away from me!
Incredible. Our opinion has been sprinkled around the entire video, but let us lay it out. But let us lay it out here. The NEGA situation, as is often the truth, was blown way out of proportion by the fandom and was probably a deliberate attempt by non-fans to destroy something that has become really popular.
There is no proof that Michael Kovac is a racist, or that he isn't racist. I know almost nothing about them, and neither does the fanbase. The only difference is that the highly parasocial fans that he and the TADC team have accumulated think they know who he truly is, and assume that he must perfectly agree with what is and isn't acceptable to them and their worldview.
After all, he's a good guy, right? And I believe in good things. Anyone who doesn't agree with me must believe in bad things. You don't disagree with me, do you?
Also important to note, the joke isn't racist. There's a difference between racist and racial. I don't think they had to apologize, but if they were going to, I don't think they need to apologize quite so hard. And simultaneously, I'm not gonna blame someone for apologizing for something that they genuinely feel bad about. So I don't think people should necessarily begin on the case saying, "The weak, sowy snowflakes! Pathetic!"
And they apologized. What's done is done! Everyone in this situation needs to get a life, and maybe touch some grass. I don't care if you have a job. Get a life!
But especially those who decide to use the situation to virtue signal and prove just how much better they are than everyone else because they don't like racism. I am so stunning and brave!
To be honest, the thing that truly disturbs me about this whole incident is that they laughed so hard. It wasn't that funny, or really funny at all, actually. But they were laughing at it like it was the funniest thing any of them had ever seen. Well, maybe you had to be there, but I certainly wasn't.
It's over. We are screwed.
Now the fans had forgotten about all the drama with Michael for the most part, and were super excited for the premiere of episode 9, the final episode of the amazing digital circus that would premiere in theaters worldwide. Oh no!
Never mind. It seems that there's more drama.
It seems that Glitch was not communicating with certain distributors overseas, and screenings were getting cancelled. But apparently, it's not their fault, it's the distributor!
Something about Glitch refusing to censor themes in the movie that may not be appreciated in certain countries and stuff. So, those countries might not get it at all.
This announcement caused at least one grown man to break down in tears, which is genuinely sad to hear.
Despite all the hand-waving away of responsibility that Glitch was doing, the Korean distributor is now suing Glitch for unilaterally canceling their contract.
Not good.
Of course, after this was made public, the fanbase decided to weigh in, again, mostly on Twitter, and make things even more volatile.
Some simply supported Glitch, some were still upset about this theater stunt from the get-go, but many of those from countries that had screenings cancelled were in shambles. It turns out that many people on Twitter are actually lawyers, and definitely know what they're talking about.
Looking further into the statement, Glitch made it clear that they did not send any copies of the movie out for approval, or rating, or whatever, even though the Korean distributor claimed that they had already signed a contract that agreed to do just that. Once again, lawsuit pending, because Glitch did not want the final episode to, what's that incessant dripping noise?
Leo! We've got a leak!
Panic time!
So, the movie first leaked to Twitter. There's just a few clips here and there, but some of those clips were from the ending of the movie, so massive spoilers. And according to this article from Soap Central, some rumors on Reddit claim that the person who leaked the footage was paid $1,000. That's just crazy.
This news wiggled its way around on Twitter and eventually got to gooseworx, who, when informed and indeed confirmed that it was leaked, responded with,
Hey, who cares?
Fans got upset with this statement because they had spent hard-earned money to see this movie 2 weeks before YouTube did, for free! They were selling out $20, and they were getting spoiled because they were still on Twitter, despite knowing the risks. This is obviously gooseworx' fault, and them making light of this is making fun of our trauma!
But if that wasn't dumb enough, there were even stranger complaints floating around. You'll see, the end credits also leaked, or at least around the end of the movie, and one Twitter user noted that the song used was originally sung by a black man, Stevie Wonder no less.
Allegedly, we haven't seen the leaks.
And instead of using the original song, they used a cover.
Allegedly.
Sung by a white man.
Oh no!
You are racist.
What's this? Turns out it's actually covered by an Asian man.
Allegedly.
But according to the Twitter user who originally started this whole post, their point still stands, even if it doesn't. Not that it ever did. Plus, the covers of songs are typically much cheaper to get the rights to use than the original versions, so this is really not that strange.
But if I had to guess, this is just another way for people to try to hate on gooseworx. Also, people who looked into the leaks said that the ending sucked, and this for some reason left some fans elated because Lisa didn't spend money on some mid-lamo! And many speculated that in fact gooseworx was quite sick of this whole project. The fan base, the drama, the constant badgering by the fans.
Many people were headcanning and theorizing that they were truly broken by all this, and that they were just absolutely destroyed by what was going on. And that was basically confirmed on Blue Sky, when on May 21st, they posted this.
I know many people are upset with my response, which is fine, but I kinda just wanted to make a cartoon, and it ended up being way more trouble than it was worth. I really just can't keep my heart on this thing anymore. It's gotten so much bigger than me, and I probably shouldn't be the figurehead of it.
Well, now I'm sad. Imagine being universally punished because your series got too popular. Brief rant. It's very easy to forget that we're not criticizing the next Marvel slop movie made by the miserable Disney company, but instead hitting on something made by someone who's pulling all-nighters to try and make the best finale they can. It's fine to critique stuff. In fact, I think we need more critique in the indie space, as some people are far too forgiving of rather mediocre projects. But being mean and evil is never beneficial, least of all in situations like these.
And then, because of all the stupid controversies that barely have anything to do with them, gooseworx is constantly getting smeared on Twitter with fans celebrating the fact that the finale sucks because gooseworx did one thing at one point or another that they didn't like.
This is the most entitled,
obnoxious,
toxic,
parasocial,
and brain-dead fandom that we have seen in a long time.
Because TADC has such a large fan base, the amount of bad actors grows proportionally. Though I think because the fan base is even more chronically online than others, it's worse than usual.
Additionally, many of the characters in the digital circus seem to reflect somewhat common real-world mental issues and struggles that are mentally unstable, and many are drawn to the series because they identify with the characters. Jax is literally me.
Unfortunately, we think some of these folks might identify a bit too strongly with these characters and are themselves not quite well adjusted.
We're by no means fans of gooseworx, as we disagree quite a bit with how they handle things on Twitter, and probably with some of the things they say. Heck, we personally think that 75% of the amazing digital circus is mid. But I don't think anyone deserves this level of hate for doing basically nothing wrong.
Rant over. On the bright side though, gooseworx will soon be free of TADC, as they have pointed out on Blue Sky, and it certainly seems there are no plans at all for a sequel.
But, it still has a few weeks until it hits YouTube. Anything could happen.
Oh my! It seems the drama surrounding the amazing digital circus never ends! Just as we were about to upload our very late but surprisingly timely video, something new popped up. It's always something, isn't it?
For one, people were spitting Discord screenshots of gooseworx saying stuff about women, but assuming the screenshots are even real, they are more than likely jokes.
You're disingenuous.
Wait a minute.
She literally says she's racist. She literally says that she's racist.
Not again.
They also start spitting more screenshots of their past tweets, this time with even less context. How very malicious.
But the most recent drama, as of this recording, involves a rather small YouTuber, aspiring voice actor, and Twitter user by the name of Josiah the Awkward, aka JoJo. And he found himself on a rather bizarre adventure.
SkyVA on X.com said,
"Y'all are weird as heck for wanting gooseworx to jump off a cliff." Then, JoJo, with all neurons firing at 100%, decided to tweet this.
Hey, let's not wish death on people. Just be like everyone else and celebrate when it happens.
Other TADC fans didn't appreciate the statement, as it sounded like Josiah wasn't opposed to gooseworx being 6 feet under, and might even throw a party if it happened. It could have been a joke, but nobody laughed.
At first, Josiah made light of the situation, saying this'll all blow over in 48 hours because the internet is just a bunch of ADHD-riddled children.
That one didn't age quite so well.
But after it stopped blowing up in his face more and more, Josiah eventually locked his account and made a long tweet saying that he doesn't want gooseworx to eliminate themselves.
Josiah was saying he was just commenting about how people celebrate when bad people remove themselves from the world, but it came off wrong. He also apparently has had beef with gooseworx and their fans in the past, but that has nothing to do with what he said. It was completely innocent. Nothing to see here.
Assuming that Josiah isn't just lying to cover his butt, you'd have to be pretty dense to not see that this statement could be interpreted as something rather offensive. That being said, some of the fans are blowing this out of proportion and are now flooding his other social media accounts with not very nice comments.
I guess we'll see if Josiah was right about the 48-hour rule.
Oh boy, that was a lot. Let's review. Sean Chiplock, in the incident we talked about, has been confirmed to not be a groomer.
We don't think the TADC cast is racist based on public evidence, and what they say or do in their spare time is completely unknown until someone leaks the group chat.
The TADC fandom is quite volatile, primarily on Twitter with a vocal minority of very sensitive people. You are allowed to feel whatever you feel about any of these cases, as I cannot control you, nor do I want to.
However, objectively, the NEGA situation was blown way out of proportion and was very silly. So silly. We are not discounting how some individuals feel, but based on the cold, hard facts, they did not say the N-word. They just didn't.
Instead, they just joked about how it sounded like something offensive and how they were gonna get canceled. Little did they know, 7 years later.
I'm always gonna be scared to say the word nega ever again.
I mean, rightfully so.
And then there are some people who would rather use the situation to fuel their own previous dislike for Glitch, even if it means spreading falsehoods, falsities, lies, deception. Boogallet would know the truth. Raise your hand if you got that reference.
Plain Rock is a pathetic troll with nothing better to do. Enough said there.
Glitch seemingly has the amazing inability to handle situations they put themselves in. The NEGA situation was crazy, but how do they mess up distribution so badly?
It's probably because they are an indie company and haven't done this type of thing before, so we must give them some grace there. But maybe offer an apology to the poor man who cried? I don't know, not my company.
And something tells me that after this video, any chance we had to work with Glitch will be gone and out the window. Oh well.
Anyways, we wish all the people involved with the drama the best and hope that they all improve as businesses and as people as they learn from these situations.
Especially gooseworx, who we must give credit to for not having a complete mental breakdown. Hopefully that future stuff will attract an audience that fully vibes with that gooseworx energy, and what energy it is.
We pray for everyone, even the people we don't like very much.
As for you, viewer, we like you!
And thank you for watching the video! A big thank you to all our channel members as well, our big fans and our very big fans,
who support the channel and get some neat little perks at some neat little tiers. Feel free to join if you wish.
But hey, for free! You could like this video and subscribe to get notified of our new videos and to boost this video to reach more people and clear up all this drama. Hopefully. Unless we just confused you more, in which case I'm sorry.
And if you want another video talking about an indie project that became way too big for its creator to the point that the creator left the entire internet, check out this video over here.
And if you want to see a video about some indie game shenanigans, you can check out this video over here.
Until we see you there, in the wise words of Cain at the end of episode 8.
Goodbye.
Super excited for the premiere worldwide. Oh no!